Tell me, what the heck is going on in America? I mean, I'm scratching my head. A lot of my friends are scratching their heads of why is there such a divide between Democrats and Republicans? Always,
John,
always.
I have to tell you, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've run for office 5 times, okay? And, run for office in New York, and, it was a blood sport. I get it. But since the election of Donald Trump, the left has literally lost their mind. They are so angry, and they're having such a hissy fit that this man won, that they can't handle it. And, no one is really calling them out for their activity, which is illegal, it is unethical, it is corrupt, it is hateful, it is spiteful. And, they can call Donald Trump whatever they want. It's a free country. We've got the First Amendment. I don't like what they call him. He's my friend. You've known him for 30 years or more, as have I. But the hatred that I see and the frame-up that they tried to create with James Comey and McCabe and a whole lot of them, and with this Russia collusion delusion, and when that didn't work, they said, we're going to impeach it, but we're not sure if this is a real impeachment. And Nancy Pelosi still, as of yesterday, wasn't sure if this would go to impeachment. All they are doing is flinging mud at this president. And John, I've been a judge, all right? I've sat on murders, rapes, violent felonies. As a prosecutor, I've tried them. I ran an office. We tried 40,000 cases a year, or prosecuted 40,000. All right, now, I know the rules of evidence. They can say, you don't have the rules of evidence, but there's something called due process. And in this country, when the President of the United States has fewer rights than an illegal, an MS-13 gangster, or anyone else, I have never seen anything like it, where the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, actually is stupid enough to come out and say, well, if he has anything to prove his innocence, he should come out and prove it. Well, what's the crime, Nancy? Let's start with that. What is the crime? And number 2, by the way, Nancy, I don't know if you've heard of it, but the burden of proof is on you. You guys aren't able to prove him guilty. In fact, you don't even know what you want to charge him with, but he better prove himself innocent. I am outraged by what is going on in the Congress and in the halls while people like you and me and everybody listening works hard for a living. They try to decide how they're going to pay their bills and whether or not their kids are going to go to this school or that school, and they're going to have a vacation or not. Cut this crap. Start working for the American people. I hate that they are so desperate for power that they have lost all morals, and they're in your face willing to say it to you openly.
Now, is there somebody stirring the pot, or did this happen? I mean, I didn't agree with Barack Obama on a great deal of items, but I always gave him the respect of being president. Why? At what point did America lose this?
Well, I'll tell you what point America lost it. America lost it, John, when Hillary Clinton and her whole gang realized that they lost the Oval Office. They lost money. They lost power. You got to remember, this Clinton Foundation, it was an alleged 501c3. That was an operative. It was an organized criminal enterprise where everybody was getting ready to rent offices, and they were going to have all kinds of businesses, and they were going to succeed in this world. And if you, just from hearing what happened with Biden's son, he made $50,000, $80,000 a month. That's just in the Ukraine. In China, $1.5 billion, okay? That'll give you an idea as to whether or not what kind of money's being made. And we don't even know what kind of money he made in Romania, and Joe Biden's brother, and Nancy Pelosi's son, and John Kerry's stepson. Let's talk about the money that they're making. They want to stop the United States from fracking, and yet they're all over energy in Europe. Give me a break. So this is about the pinnacle, when they were all going to cash in, where the Clintons had set up the whole enterprise and everybody was a part of the scam. It is Saul Alinsky, where these people are in power. They get everyone to owe them, and everyone is afraid to talk about them. And when they had the Million Woman March on the day the president was inaugurated, or right around then, I remember saying, what did he do? Bill Clinton, I mean, his semen was on the dress of an intern in the Oval Office while he was president. Give me a break. Now all of a sudden they've got all these, righteous indignation. No, it's about power and money. Who started
Well, I talked to John Kerry's son, was a friend of mine, and he called me, and I talked to him, and he walked away from the Bidens. So I don't know what yes, he did. And he told me that.
How long ago?
When the revelation started coming out about 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
Oh, well, that's a big deal. He was in business with. They were all one hand washed the other. Walked away. He walked away when the spotlight was on. Give me a break. 4 or 5 months ago. I'm a prosecutor, John. You don't want to tell me, oh God, everybody's looking at what looks bad. Let me get away from it. No, you get away from it when you're in the middle of it. What did Hunter Biden? What did any of them do to have this kind of money-making capacity? They were leveraging power in Europe based upon their parents. It's disgusting. But anyway, let me go back to what's going on. I wrote a book, Radicals, Resistance, and Revenge, The Left's Plot to Remake America.
How is the book doing?
Great. It was on the New York Times for a while, and it's still very popular. And I'm still going all over the country doing book signings and, speaking to groups and all that stuff. But this is what's going on. They're remaking America. Remember Brett Kavanaugh, all that mess. Brett Kavanaugh, he's a gang rapist. The guy's on the Supreme Court almost a year, not quite. All of a sudden they say he's a rapist again. When this alleged victim says, I don't know what they're talking about. And yet they used her to go after him again. The same with Trump. They did Russia collusion. That didn't work. Now they're starting with Ukraine. They had this woman, Yovanovitch. Give me a break. The president said he didn't want you as an ambassador. You know what? Man up, put on your big boy pants and keep walking. She's over there, they didn't like me and Rudy didn't like me. I don't really care. People hate me. Get over it.
Jeanine, I agree with you on most of that stuff. And the book is doing well. And I guess we have to find a point where we get Americans back together again. What do you think the answer is?
Well, I think the answer is the next election. They'll decide in the next election. And you know what? If Trump wins again, and I'm sure he's going to win again, because I go across the country. I'm on an airplane twice a week. And people are fed up with this. They don't want to see Congress in the middle of this garbage. It's like a game of telephone. This is telephone. This one heard this one say that one. No one knows the president. No one's talked to the president. The president gave us a transcript, and then just today he gave us the first conversation he had with Zelensky. And Zelensky and he are talking. They had no idea this conversation would ever be released. And you know what they're talking about? They're both talking about going against corruption. That's what they're talking about. All the right things. It's incredible what the left has done. And then this Adam Schiff. This guy ought to be in jail.
I understand from one of our guests today that we had on, it is not against the law for a congressman or his staff to lie on the congressional floor.
Right. He can't be prosecuted. He's got immunity. I get it. Yes. I know it. But
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. A lot of Americans did not know it. Judge Jeanine Pirro, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to catching up.
Oh, I look forward to seeing you and Margot. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.